What's going on, guys? I'm Lawrence Owen, and I'm just here to talk to you guys about the Indianapolis Colts Houston Texans matchup this year. It's going to be fun to watch. It was fun to watch last year. Colts won one game. The Texans won a game last year. End of the year came down to the last play of the game, basically. And this year it's going to be no different. Look, both teams got better. Both teams got better. Without question. Both teams added weapons on the offense. Both teams added help on the defense. Okay. The great thing, there is questions about, the Colts really didn't do anything in the secondary. How are you going to stop C.J. Stroud and that passing attack? Well, first off, they have to stop our RPO system. Okay. That's the first and foremost thing right there. Could it be that the Texans-Colts games may be one of the funnest games to watch in the NFL this year? Right? Both of them, whether they're at Indy or in Houston? Absolutely could be. It could be an offensive explosion, right, by both teams. But, look, last year the Indianapolis Colts, they were banged up and incredibly young in the secondary. This year they're coming in healthy, and the youth of that secondary from last year now has experience. So that's amazing. That will help a lot. Another year in the system, another year in the NFL for a lot of these young corners. Plus some guys that come back from the injury like Dallas Flowers. Then, of course, the Colts brought in another pass rusher. The Colts defensive line was already incredibly good. Franchise record in sacks, that's right, last year. And then they bring in Leatu Latu, so that's just going to be more pressure off the edge. Stroud is not going to be able to hold the ball for long periods of time and find guys downfield, right? So that's a situation that benefits Indianapolis. Offensively, things are so different for the Colts. You think, well, not really. They re-signed everybody, but it's different, okay? First off, Anthony Richardson has a whole offseason starting reps, right? He split all first-team reps last year with Gardner Minshew. He's not doing that this year. He's getting all the first-team reps. Plus, he's got the entire offseason with Jonathan Taylor. We didn't have Jonathan Taylor through the first, 4, 5, 6 weeks of the NFL last year. That first game, the first game against the Texans, and then the last game against the Texans, we didn't have Anthony Richardson. And with Anthony Richardson, the Colts were up by a bunch at halftime, okay? With Anthony Richardson and without Jonathan Taylor. With Jonathan Taylor, it's completely different. Plus, we got an extra weapon, right? We have a very healthy offensive line. This is a situation where the Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans, I would not be surprised if some of these games reach 60-plus points, right? I am really excited about watching some of these games that's gonna happen this season. And it could very well come down to who wins the division on which offense is tougher to stop. C.J. Stroud was phenomenal last year. I'm not going to dampen that by saying anything otherwise. Okay? Tank Dell was really good right up until he got injured. All right? And then, of course, there's other players on that team. I'm not even going to talk about the speedster that they have on that team that absolutely burned us both games. Both games. But that speedster, and that was a lot of deep shots. And like I said, there's not going to be as many options for deep shots this year with the Colts pass rush. And then, of course, there's that whole thing between C.J. Stroud, Zaire Franklin, right? That's something that we got to keep an eye on. I'll guarantee you that Z is going to be making sure that entire defense for the Colts is going to be ready for that first game of the year against the Texans. I'll guarantee you that he does not want to be showed up after Stroud's like, I burnt you guys in both games, and Z's like, you never beat Anthony Richardson. Come on now, So that's going to be interesting to watch. It's definitely going to be brought up throughout the preseason, and it's going to be definitely brought up during the game. There'll be questions in media and stuff of that nature. This is a fun expression of excitement coming into this game, coming into this season, into these matchups with the Texans. I look forward more to these two matchups, than I do any of the other games on the schedule. And there's a lot of good games. The Jaguars game, going into Jacksonville, right, where we haven't won in a while. We got the Patriots game. We're facing the Lions. I mean, there's so many games on the schedule. But these two matchups right here is what is really got me excited. And we already knew it was going to happen. We already knew that these two were booked year in, year out. And yet it's what I look forward to right now this season, because it's going to be fun to watch. It is absolutely going to be fun to watch. Look, I think that this is a situation where I think Anthony Richardson is going to have plenty of options. Okay, and that is a pun on the situation of Shane Steichen's play calling ability. But look, there's too much. There's too much for the Texans to keep an eye on. All right, for the offense to not be able to put up a bunch of points. Right, like I said, with Anthony Richardson, we put up 28 points in the first half against the Texans with Anthony Richardson, and that's without Jonathan Taylor. Right? Imagine what it could be with Jonathan Taylor. Are they going to drop 8, 9 in the box? And if so, how often will Richardson just option out and throw a pass right over the top? Right over the top of the linebacker safety line. If they're going to bring guys down into the box, the Colts aren't going to worry about the defensively. For the Colts against the Texans, it's going to be a situation. There was too many big plays that the Indianapolis Colts gave up, especially in their secondary, of big plays, 20-plus yard plays through the air, okay, where Stroud just sat back there and launched it downfield. I will guarantee you this is a situation where Gus Bradley and the defensive backs coach will be all up on the safeties not creeping up and biting on in routes and tight end curls and things of that nature. They're going to be keeping an eye and making sure that Stroud is not going to be hitting guys downfield for monster games. Monster gains, not games. Right? So, that's something that Stroud's going to have to learn. He's going to have to just slowly work his way down the field. Run the football, take the check down, that kind of stuff. Quick passes, and continue to do so without making mistakes. Whereas with the Colts RPO, you run the football, whether it's Jonathan Taylor or Anthony Richardson running. And you just keep doing that until they try to, come up and stop it. And once they're, coming up to stop it, that's when the opportunities for big plays downfield presents themselves. And I'm excited to see what that happens, when that happens. Guys, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed, tag that notification bell so that you are notified next time I go live or upload a video. And thank you so much. We're going to be talking about a lot of these different games. And on Monday, I'm pretty sure on Believe in Colts, Donald and I will be giving our win-loss record predictions. So stay tuned for that. And as usual, until next time, have a good one.